Hi, I'm Steven. That's John. We're with Just Got Played, and we are bringing you MrX's top 25 games of all time, the 7th annual 2022 edition of this list. So if you want to know more about this, you can go back and watch our first video from December 1st, the number 25 video, where we talk about it. But essentially, I collected a bunch of top 50 lists from people, and I used an algorithm to aggregate those. And so this is an aggregated top 25 list. And today we're breaking into the top 10, John. We made it to top 10.
It's exciting.
Right.
Best 10.
Yeah, forget about everything else. Everything else is garbage. Top 10 territory, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
those other games are terrible.
Yeah. Why would you bother? But today is December 16th. We're bringing you number 10, and number 10 on the list is Formula D. Or Formula Day if you have an older version. But essentially, Formula D is a dice rolling pusher luck sort of racing game. So there, in the current version printing of it, you could be a Formula One car or like a street racing car. But you have your car on the map, and at the beginning of your turn, it's very simple. You choose what gear you want to be in. You can gear up one, or you could gear down multiple. You take some damage if you gear down multiple, but you can gear up one or down one, and that tells you what die you should roll. So there are a bunch of different dice in these games. There's like a D4 and a D30 and a D20, and each gear has a different die, but even the die, like the D30, is like the numbers on it are 21 through 30. So you know the range of numbers that you could potentially roll with that die. So it's a racing game. You want to go as fast as possible. So why wouldn't you just choose the die to go as fast as possible? Well, there are corners in the track. There are places that you have to slow down, because if you don't stop in that corner, sometimes more than once in your turn in the corner, then you take damage. And if you take too much damage, your car just blows up, right? We basically always play the simple version of this game, which is basically as I described. There's a more advanced version where you have wear points allocated to tires and transmission and brakes and all that. But we just have damage as just like a whole category. And you can take damage for blowing through, a corner and not stopping as many times as you were supposed to. And you can take damage for sort of bumping into other players, essentially, or overheating your engine by being in a high gear when, somebody rolls the wrong number or whatever. It seems like every time we play this game, you limp across the finish line with your car on fire, about to blow up, or you lost, right? You can't play this game safe. I mean, we had a person in our gaming group, and we called him Downshift, I think, for a year after we played this game with him, because just every corner he downshifted before he went into it. And downshifting in this game is a little bit punishing, because, you can downshift, but you really, after a corner, there's usually a straightaway, and you can't upshift as much as you want. You can only upshift one at a time. So you want to get into that corner as fast as possible. So you shoot out upshifting into the higher gears and rolling and going. So what if it tears up your car? As long as you make it past the finish line, right? Yeah. So John, what do you think about this game?
I think you're absolutely right. You have to look at damage as a resource. You want to spend all but one of them at most to be able to get across that finish line. But the great thing about this, there's always someone that explodes because they've been too risky and rolled too high on the dice. I think if you blow past a corner and you don't stop if you miss two of the stops, then you just explode.
You're just out.
Yeah. So there's always just like one person that kind of is in the lead a little bit and being risky. There's one person that's just exploded halfway through and they're on the side of the road. And everybody else is just kind of jockeying for position. But it's just a fun little game. It's very push your luck element to it. You're like, I'm going to go in this gear, but if I roll 29 or 30, I'm in trouble. And you hit that 30 and you're taking, a lot of damage on it. So it's very much just see what you can get away with, limp across the finish line with that one dice. But it's just a fun dice checker. The theme is great on it. You're jockeying for position with the cars. You're trying to block each other, try not to have your engine explode. And usually just do a full lap of it. And whoever crosses the finish line first wins. And you just have fun doing it. So it's not a game you can take too seriously because there's a lot of luck in it. There's a lot of dice in it. But if you go and do it with the right mindset, where you're spending a year calling someone downshift because of all they were doing, then you're gonna have a great time with it. And you're really it's gonna sing for you. So it's one of my favorite games. I just love it for silly dice checking action.
Yeah, you mentioned the luck with dice, and obviously dice are going to have luck. But one thing that sort of mitigates luck in a dice game is lots of dice rolling. And this game has a lot of dice rolling. And that's, one of the things I like about it. But I think one of the things I like about this game the most is this is my go-to game if 10 or now my copy, I added some more, 12 people we can play this game with. But, sometimes I'll get an RSVP for 9, 10 players. And that, there's not a lot of games that support 9 or 10 players.
It's true.
And this game, it's not awful at 10 players. It's not simultaneous play. So you do have to wait for your turn, but snappy, make your choice, gear roll, move, go around the table. And everybody is, in the beginning, it's just sort of like, all right, low gear, whatever. But then, by the middle and then toward the end, people are into it like, no, gear up, don't gear down, roll the bigger die, and then you're like, oh, if I roll higher than 26, I blow up. And then they roll and it's like a 27 where he's like, so people get into it almost like a party game, right?
Yeah, if you go in with a lot of players and you treat it like a party game, you're going to come out having a good time and you don't care who wins. So,
yeah.
So it just sings in that kind of environment.
Yeah. I mean, I've played this game with, 30 or more people, and just one person hates this game, but everybody else has had a good time and would play it again. Kevin.
That tracks.
Yeah, that tracks.
Pun intended.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that is, I'm glad to see here. Obviously, I vote on this list, so it's high on my list, and I'm sure that influenced it getting bumped up here. But I'm glad that other people also like this game, so they got pushed all the way up to number 10, Formula D. You know what? I did not check whether this was on previous lists in previous years. I'm going to do that right now. And look at that. It was number 17 in 2021. It was number 12 in 2020. So this is the highest it's actually gone up on the list. All right. So good job, Formula D. All right. So this is MrX's top 25 games of all time. And as always, it is a contest. So sometime around the end of December, I'm going to draw a winner, and the winner is going to be somebody who left a comment on these YouTube videos. So today, if you want to enter on this video, why don't you leave me a comment? You tell me what you think about Formula D, or you can just tell me what your favorite racing game of all time is. And if you don't really like racing games, tell me what your favorite racing sport is. That'll do. But anyway, this is December 16th, number 10. We'll be back tomorrow, December 17th, with number 9 on the list. But until then, I'm Steven. That's John. We're from Just Got Played, and thanks for joining us.